Oh, hi guys, welcome back. Hello, sorry about that. I messed up on the audio. We're starting the three-man weave right now. My name is Brendan Clark.
Well, it's great to be back. We got Sean Edwards here, and
You got Jossie here. It's good to be back.
All right, guys, we're gonna kick it off. Starting by NBA once again, our specialty, three-man weave. We're gonna talk about the trades and the see who's the winners. So a lot of trades were going on about at least last week or so, and I would just like to talk about the winners. So who do you think what teams won? So the teams that we have for the trade, we have the Portland teams such as the Portland Trailblazers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Miami Heat. We have the Phoenix Suns, Denver Nuggets, and the Brooklyn Nets. So for the winners, who do you think won for the trade deadlines?
well, one of my winners, and I'm sure many have said this already, but I'll just restate it. Just Oklahoma City. To me, this is probably the first time I've seen them with a complete team. In all honesty, I mean, it made more sense in terms of their big man, where the route they took. Cantor over Brooke Lopez, who was rumored to go there, who in reality would have just been a rental for them because he had a player option for 1 year. So that would have probably, I don't know, backfired or whatever. But Cantor, when you look at it, I believe he's a better duo combination when coupled with Steven Adams for a long term team, a
Yeah.
long term front court team. So I mean, it definitely elevated them. I mean, you bring in a legitimate point guard. People want to say whatever they may feel obliged to say about Russell Westbrook in terms of his ability to have a point guard's impact on a basketball game. And that he's not a natural point guard. Playing the two in at UCLA and then transitioning over into the NBA
Yeah.
and trying to switch roles there. But now DJ Augustine, legitimate point guard. I've been watching already the games he's played for the Thunder, and he doesn't surprise me at all. He's making all the right decisions. So there you go in that respect. And you have two good shooters now, with Singler
Steve Novak, yeah.
and Steve Novak,
Yeah.
coupled with the Anthony Morrow that you already had going into this trade. And it just makes for a complete ball club. We'll finally get to see what Mr. Reggie Jackson, can do, being that, he believes he's a max player. I don't know, that's to be debated.
Yeah, that's to be debated. For me, I have two winners. OKC definitely because you got to upgrade the center position from Kendrick Perkins with Ennis Cantor. You get someone who's young, hungry, and motivated to have an impact on the game.
Mm.
And if you put them with Durant and Russell, fantastic. Now, yeah, Durant and Russell together are great, but they needed that extra that third person to help them, which Serge Ibaka was, but he's not consistent enough yet. I love the impact of DJ Augustine, and who knows, he may actually even make it into a starting lineup and have him play along Russell, which would be nice to see, and see Russell off the ball and see how that will impact the game. But we'll see with that. My other winner is my team, the Miami Heat. No one expected this to get the Dragic brothers to come to South Beach. Beautiful. I mean, you have after we lost LeBron, I'm not gonna lie, we were all Miami Heat fans were heartbroken.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We lost the soul out of us. He was our point guard. He was number one option on offense. He was literally our everything. And so when we lost him, everybody had to step up. And I like what Whiteside was doing. I like what James Ennis been doing. But we needed a point guard because Chalmers has been slacking off in recent years of being a true point guard. Norris Cole was developing, but for obvious reasons, we could not make him the starting point guard. Unfortunately, we had to let him go, but it was a small sacrifice to get both the Dragic brothers. Goran brings that same type of mentality like LeBron. He can run the fast break offense for us. He can be the first one down the court and make defenses have to set up fast into the paint to close out on him, which only opens up room for our shooters to come and shoot the three off out of the paint when Goran goes into paint. Now, I also like his brother's addition because Zoran is almost like Goran, except he's still raw. You could develop him, and you can have someone to be your backup point guard behind his brother and learn from his brother in South Beach and take over once his brother leaves. Plus, another thing I like, Goran said he will sign a long-term deal if he went to Miami, New York, or the Lakers.
Yeah, there you go.
So, if we can keep him for, let's say, 3 years, and unfortunately, we lost Bosh due to his blood clot health. His blood clot is in his lung, which I hope he gets well soon. If we can have Goran, Dwayne Wade, and Bosh, we're contenders in the East once again. And no one can dispute that.
I think the one important thing, the fact that you guys made about your two choices, you have the Miami Heat and the OKC, is that the main focus was the point guard position. Now you look at OKC, you already know that you have Westbrook as the top gun person, and of course there's always that argument that he's really an actual two, but then here comes Here comes DJ Augustine, a person that you usually see sometimes playing the starting role, but here he comes, and then you see his game and you see how he's really progressed in other teams, and shows that he is the actual point guard. He is the one that is not afraid to take a big shot, but will also dish a pass. Like, he could get his good 14 points in, and it'll be a solid 14 points in, especially in crucial positions. And then you could still give Westbrook your 30. Like, I think that Westbrook would be perfectly fine with him if he could let him get his 30.
Yeah.
If you let him get his 30 play, fine. Because you can't stop Westbrook from getting his 30 when Durant's not even going to be, maybe off and on because of health reasons.
Exactly.
And then you think about the Miami Heat with their pick of when they got Dragic, and another point guard scenario where you see that they had it look like they had Chalmers and they had Shabazz Napier and they had Cole, and that's three people. And then you brought up another point guard. I know they traded some people off.
Yeah.
But you see that they now have a piece who can really excel their game. Now, I know it seemed like as though Miami Heat should have went for the point guard position, and I'm glad that they chose this pick because, LeBron, you think of him as a point forward. So now when LeBron left, you lost that passing range, you lost those type of abilities. But once you have Dragic now you can swing the ball a little bit more, and Dwayne Wade could probably do less.
Yeah.
So
exactly, and just
yeah, go ahead.
One thing I would like to say going back to Oklahoma City is that Sam Presti, their general manager, did sort of a Pat Riley-esque type of move here. You know how Pat Riley always finds a way to get an issue resolved in Miami during the off season or whenever. You know what I mean? He finds some way to pull in, and Sam Presti did just that here. Especially, I feel like they're desperate to win a chip there, being that they've inched closer and closer and then kind of, fell out of that contention, due to little things like Westbrook going out and whatnot. And I feel like this is his this shows his determination and, initiative to keep Durant for, the long haul, the long term, because Durant will soon have the option to part ways if, that's what floats his boat. And to see Sam Presti make a move like this to try and build a complete team, like I said before, I'll just reemphasize, the most complete team I've seen that franchise with.
Yeah.
So, great move by Sam Presti.
Would you say after Harden?
Well, yeah, because when I look at it, Harden, they still had
when they
an
had
issue.
Harden,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was something.
Then he went to Houston.
Yeah. I mean, it was still beautiful nonetheless, I mean, it kind of similar to the Reggie Jackson situation, although, Reggie Jackson may not believe it, but I don't believe he's a James Harden. James Harden wanted that max money.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie wanted that max money, wanted that max role, that box office type of role. He'll get it where he is now. But
he has to prove it first.
Oh, yeah, he
Because
does.
James Harden proved it once he was in OKC.
Yeah.
That's why Houston's like, you know what? We'll give you the money. And even now, he's proving it now. He had a triple-double last night. I mean, James Harden is showing why he's worth the money he's worth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And OKC is regretting every moment that they lost with him.
Yeah, 45.
Come on. His first game, I think in Houston, he had, a 40-point game?
45. Yeah, 45.
Yeah. 45 points.
So, I mean, it's painful. But now they got a bench which is something they needed. Because when Russell and Durant goes out of the game, their scoring drops so significantly. It's unbelievable. So now it's Singler, Novak, DJ Augustine coming off the bench. Now you're like, okay, wait. We can't just rest now that Durant and Russell's off the court. We got to worry about other people. We got to worry about their shooters. And the move not only keeps Durant into OKC, but also Russell. Because remember, Russell's going to be a free agent soon too. And LA is right there knocking on his door. The Lakers would love to have Russell come in. They will welcome him home with open arms.
Open arms.
I mean, if you think LeBron got to welcome to Cleveland or Melo got to welcome when he came to New York, if Russell came to LA,
what? They'll put his statue next to Magic Johnson.
Magic, Snoop, and Kobe will all pitch in money to make sure he has a statue there. So they have to make the moves to keep the two together.
Yeah, I think that's a
it was a great move. It was a great move.
With that being said, when you talk about once again relating back to Miami Heat and OKC, you see that Miami's seventh in the Eastern Conference in a shot for being in the playoffs so far, and then you have OKC, who is only 8th. So with these trades, and you two both talking about how they're both contenders and they both have the greatest trades from this upcoming deadline trade line that just happened, how far do you see them changing their standings by the end of the season?
Unfortunately for Miami, honestly, I don't even think they'll make the playoffs. Unfortunately, or if they do, they will still stay by the 7th, 8th seed. Because unfortunately, we lost Bosh, and Bosh is now our new heart in Miami. Don't get me wrong, Dwayne Wade is always gonna be Miami Heat for life, and we will love him to death. But Bosh was the star now, and now unfortunately he went down due to his health issues. I don't think the team can bring what Bosh has. Bosh brings energy to the starting lineup. He gives you rebounds, blocks, points, leadership, all those things. And those are things that you can't just replace like that.
Intangibles that you just can't teach.
Exactly.
That's it.
So that's why I think Miami, we won't change. Now, OKC, even though the Western Conference is harder, but let's think about it. Russell's playing out of his mind. The other night, he had 17 assists. 17. That surprised me because I don't even think Russell. No, I expect Russell to make 5, 7 assists, 17, and he said he wants to be more of a point guard. So for him to have 17 assists and almost 30 points, I applaud him. I'm like, that's beautiful. And now they got a bench, and if Durant comes back and could produce well, OKC can easily crack top 5 in the West, in my opinion. Because let's think of the teams that's in front of them. San Antonio. You got San Antonio, what, 7th seed? 6th seed? 7th. And those teams that's in the... San Antonio, they didn't make any trades at the deadline, and their team's still been having health issues all season. So OKC can sneak up and take that 7th seed, possibly even a 6th seed. And even if they stay at the 8th seed, no team wants to play them in the first round. If the standings stay where they were, Golden State does not want to face OKC in the first round. They don't. Especially if OKC gets Durant back. I love the Splash Brothers like anybody else, but Splash Brothers are not going to stop Russell.
Not even just that.
And they're not stopping Durant. I don't care. There's nobody on that team that's going to stop those two. So that series will probably go 6 games.
They have a complete big man in OKC. I mean, Golden State's big man can't even stay healthy.
Yeah, Bogut struggles with his health. But Cantor, I see Cantor and I see the fire in him. No, he has that passion to be like, you know what? I want to be one of the dominant big men in this league. I want to be what people used to compare Dwight to Shaq. I see him wants to be something like that. So the fact that they got a young, talented center to put with Durant and Russell is beautiful.
Sean, what final thoughts?
Well, in terms of the Heat, right now, I don't know how much further up they can go in terms of their conference. I mean, they're 6.5 games back from 6. Again, from the Bucks, and you look at the Bucks adding a longer, athletic version of Brandon Knight. I don't know about how much talented, but Michael Carter Williams, of course, coupled with the guys that they have. I don't know if Miami's rising in terms of the standings, but I think regardless of where they stay, there'll be a first round exit. But I don't think I don't believe in them not making the playoffs.
Okay.
I think they'll definitely make the playoffs. OKC, along with a lot of these other teams in the Western Conference, I can't really make any judgment calls because I feel like standings in the West don't really play that big of a role, a little to no role, unless you're like the top four. If you're one of the top four seeds in the West, then yes, it plays a role because I feel like home court advantage matters in the West more than it does in the East.
Yeah, I mean, also, think about it with the Western Conference. Now the Clippers lost Blake Griffin, they're going to slip. So OKC will move up naturally just because of that. Because there's no way the Clippers going to keep producing the same way they did when they had Blake. So OKC will move up just for that alone.
Yeah. OKC, actually, now that you say that, I mean, if they can get one of the top four seeds, well, that's highly unlikely. It's going to be tough for them to win 3 straight series on the road. Because think about it. If they stay where they're at now, sure, Golden State doesn't want to play them. Any of these other teams won't want to see them in the first round. But nonetheless, they're going to have to win if they were to get out of the West. 3 straight series on the road against all of these teams. And in the Western Conference, that's a tough thing to do in the playoffs.
It is.
Okay. That's interesting to hear. One thing that I liked about what y'all talked about was the point guard position and how the standings might not entirely matter in the West. And I just want to, after the break, I want to actually try to get into the Russell Westbrook versus Curry. You think of the two hottest point guards, and one's in the first top seed and one's in the 8th seed. And if the standings were to actually be like that going into the playoffs, I would like to see how that really goes. So once we come back from the 3-man weave, I would try to just get into really quick Russell versus Curry.